In this video, we're going to look at pedalboards of the past. Hey guys, this is Dr. McFarland. Welcome to the channel. If you are new here, please consider subscribing and be sure to click on the bell icon so you'll be notified every time I release new content. This is Doc Talk, and today we're going to be looking at some of the different pedal boards I've had over the years. And I've tried going through my different folders on the computer and of just different iterations of pedal boards and different pedals and arrangements and all kinds of fun stuff. So let's go ahead and start off down here. This is 2012, and what we see here is a big mess of experimenting. You can see I had my customized Dunlop wah pedal with a momentary switch, and that was modded by a fellow friend and old student of mine named Foster Farrell, who does a lot of great work here in Nashville in the studio, and he was recently on the Dierks Bentley tour with a supporting artist, so that's pretty cool. Here's a Carl Martin compressor. Here's an old Visual Sound Garage Tone overdrive. Actually sounds pretty good. It's got a gain and volume with a treble and bass knob. An old Plexitone with an AC power adapter hooked into the pedal. That sounded pretty good. Proctavia, which is an octave fuzz pedal. Here's a Visual Sound volume pedal with the cool little LEDs there on the left. And here's the Electro Harmonics Pog. I've actually owned this pedal at least 3 or 4 different times over the years. I'd buy it, maybe it was too big for the setup I was going for, so I sold it. It was like, well, I really like the pedal, so I'm gonna buy it back again. And then I sold it again, then I bought it back. It was just stupid going back and forth like I did, but you know, that's the, just for the sake of experimenting. Here's an old M9, which I eventually sold to one of my students. And you'll see in other pictures, other iterations of the M series. And then there's a good old Boss tuner, and then the Voodoo Lab power supply. This next picture right here, this is kind of showing a very basic setup with the same wah pedal with the momentary switch. Here's a Pigtronics compressor, along with a distortion, which has a distortion, octave, and a fuzz all in one pedal. And then here's a customized pedal I used. And here's a TC Electronic flashback with the 3 presets and a tap tempo. Same Boss pedal, tuner, and then the Voodoo Lab power supply right there. This is on a SKB board, built like a tank. You can see that I customized and flipped it around a little bit. Here's the same board you just saw, maybe in better lighting. This was at the studio. Probably during band practice, or maybe when I was just putting it together. You can see all the extra cables and stuff I had around. And this is the Philosopher's Tone compressor by Pigtronics. And the distortion, you see it's overdrive, fuzz, and octava. And then the Dr. Boost, flashback, TC, delay, and so forth. I didn't have the Pog on this board right here. I think I was just trying to go for a really super basic kind of setup. You know, compressor's always on. Here's some overdrive, here's some boost, here's some delay. That's it. Here's the same SKB board with the power attachment. And you can see I still was using the wah pedal with the momentary switch. There's that Carl Martin compressor. So basically I was going fuzz, looks like, into wah, out of the wah into the compressor, out of the compressor into the Pog, out of the Pog into the Plexitone, which is my core gain sound right there. Then out of the Plexitone, I was going into my DD20 Boss delay, Giga delay. It's a classic pedal. Then out of that, going into the Line 6 M9, then into my tuner, then out into the amplifier. You can see a little gig rig power supply right there that was powering up everything, the little distributor and whatnot. I tried to make that work, but it is what it is sometimes. All right, so this is actually an interesting one. This has Foster's wah pedal, before he modded mine, just so I could check it out. He made all these extra modifications on the side, and this was back when he was big into modding pedals. So, and this is the Carl Martin Quattro, which has some compression, different levels of drive. This is basically the Plexitone circuit right here in this area. Then it had like a little, I think this was a vintage chorus. I wished it had a tremolo on there. That would have made it perfect. I think there were some other versions of the Quattro that did have the tremolo, but I never could find one. So, and then you got the delay section right here, which had the vintage echo. So you can turn it on and off and have the tap tempo, which is cool. The same fuzz pedal as the last picture. There's the old Garage Tone overdrive, Pog 2, M9, Boss tuner, and this is actually the Seymour Duncan shapeshifter, which is just a basic tremolo pedal, but it's pretty cool. All right, now we're on to the M13. I really don't know what I was trying to do here with this setup. Didn't really seem that logical, maybe. I was trying to use the custom pedal looper to maybe run the flashback and maybe the Pog and maybe some other stuff, but there's my Mission Engineering L6 expression pedal that you use with the M series line 6 pedals. And here's another version of the M13 with the Pog and the Philosopher's Tone compressor. I basically use this as my volume pedal and maybe an expression pedal to change other parameters on the M13. And then here's the same wall pedal with the momentary switch. All right, so here's the same board. So check this out. So I went from this, trying to go that route, to something like this, where I actually built like a little riser. You can see the wood over here. So I built a multi-level riser. So I have pedals along the back. I have my 4-channel looper, which probably had the overdrive, the big muff, the full tone, surely something else. Probably the Pog. Yeah, I had the Pog in there. So I had these 4 pedals in the looper. Then I had my compressor always on, the tuner, here's the Dr. Boost, and then here's the M5, which is just like the M9 and M13, but you can only turn on one sound at a time, which was fine for me because I had my my L6, which I used this mainly for tremolo, auto volume, echo, volume, and that's pretty much it. Just those 3 effects most of the time. Here's a flashback X4, and there's a Flint from Strymon, which is a tremolo and a reverb pedal in one. And yeah, that covered a lot of ground. Very interesting setup. So here's an M13 setup. I think this is a different board. This would have been a 28 by 16, maybe. Something like that. I think it came from roadcases.com. I had it custom ordered. And I got my Mission Engineering L6, the same wah pedal that I used for years with that momentary switch. So basically with that switch, when you put your foot on, it turns on. And when you take your foot off, it automatically turns off. So therefore, you didn't have to click the toe just to turn on. It made it very quick and easy just to do like a little wah chicka wah wah part and take your foot off and then you're done. There's the Pog 2. And this is the Hoof Reaper Octave from Earthquaker Devices. This pedal is pretty amazing. Pretty cool stuff. Then you got the Midnight 30 Music M30 Drive, which is a 3-knob kind of gain pedal. Here's a baby tuner, which has a lot of views on my YouTube channel. Just a basic tuning video, but it's got thousands of views now. It's pretty funny. And then here's the Full Tone GT500, which I actually owned this pedal at least twice. This is probably the first time I owned it, and I sold it. Then I bought another one probably about 2 years ago at Nashville Used Music, just to use as a demonstration to compare it to other pedals. And then I sold it again to one of my students, so which is a great pedal, so I don't regret selling it. or nor was I just pawning it off on somebody else. I mean, I really do think it's an excellent pedal, and if your need is just some basic overdrive and distortion, then this is a good way to go right there. And there's the M13 I was using for all my delays, reverbs, modulation stuff. This is a little channel switching pedal for my orange TH30. So that was a pretty sweet amplifier right there. And let's see what else we got here. Alright, so that's good for the M13 kind of stuff. Alright, so I made a custom wood pedal board just out of some scrap wood in the garage. And with this board, you just have a basic tuner. Here's the Route 66 from True Tone, which has the compressor and the tube screamer-ish kind of side. Then there's a Obsessive Overdrive, which is basically the OCD from Full Tone, just in a mini form. And here's a Boost Killer from Donner, which is a very simple boost pedal. Basically like your RC booster. Sounds great. Here's the Canyon, delay, and arena reverb. Here's some dirt section kind of goodness. Here's the Soul Food from Electro Harmonics, the Sequel 6 Fuzz from Midnight 30 Music, the Tube Screamer, Sonic Harmonic from Midnight 30 Music, and the OD Glove. Alright, so here's the beginnings of a small pedal board. This is the Pedal Train Metro 16. So it's very small, compact. This took me a while to get this arrangement how I wanted, but I think it worked out pretty well. And here's a different picture. I think I was kind of experimenting with the wiring right here, seeing how all that would work. And you can see the CS6 from True Tone power supply hiding underneath there. So that works pretty well. This is a video, but I'm going to fast forward. All right, that's not too bad. We can work with that. So what we have here, we have the same 4-channel looper, and this is the board that I use for my European tour. And this is the Pedal Train Fly, which is a 14 by 22 size pedal board. And I have pretty much everything on here that I needed at that time. And it's very compact. This is a 4-channel looper. I had some kind of Earthquaker Devices overdrive. I think this is the Cloven Hoof, which is a fuzz. And I had the LPB1, which is a boost, and then the Pog. So I went guitar into wah pedal, then wah into compressor, and then compressor into the input of the 4-channel looper. Then I had these 4 pedals going into the looper so I could access them at the front of the pedal board there, just 1, 2, 3, 4, very easy. And then here is the tap tempo right here in this area. That's the tap tempo for the Boss digital delay. I think this is a DD6. And then got the tuner, obviously, and the stereo out reverb. You can see that I still have my L6 from Mission Engineering. So for that record and that band, I pretty much used the tremolo, auto volume, echo, or volume pedal kind of thing. So that's basically my main setup right there for the M5. And then now for the last 2 boards I'm going to show you. This one right here, this is based on the Boss ES8. And I actually love this board. It sounded really, really good. You can see the 4 cable method setup I had going on back there on the underside of the board. This is still the same Pedal Train Fly, which is the 14 by 22. It's kind of amazing how different the Europe board was from this board right here. I kind of went more digital. I had 2 Eventide H9s. Obviously I would use this for a tuner. I think I hit the mute button on the ES8 that turned on the tuner via MIDI, which is kind of cool. Then I would use one for reverb, the other one for delay, and I would have all my presets set up right here. So this is really, I wish I had pictures of some of my other non-pedal board setups throughout the years. But sometimes I would go digital, like the TC Electronic G system, which is a kind of spaceship kind of looking pedal device. It's kind of cool. Then I would go back to analog pedals, and then I would go back to some kind of digital thing, and then I'd try, analog pedals again. So this setup right here was a good combination of digital and analog. And then the Boss ES8 just allowed me to put all the pedals into the back of the board I could create my presets and, you know, have different combinations of stuff. So let's say that preset 1 right here was maybe the Pog and some overdrive and some reverb. And then preset 2, I could have the MIDI change all 3 of these pedals, the 2 H9s and the M5, to be some kind of drastic, otherworldly kind of sound. Then I could go back to my rock sound and go to some tremolo kind of sound and, you know, just whatever. So between the H9s, the M5, and the Hall of Fame, you know, I could have different types of reverbs and all kinds of different stuff. So then the dual fusion, I always enjoyed having a dual overdrive pedal. So you could get 2 overdrive sounds out of one compartment, and it just didn't take up as much space. You only needed to use 1 power supply for that. And it's pretty cool. And then there's the trusty Pog 2, which I think this might have been my 3rd one that I bought and sold. There's a Sequel 6 fuzz, and there's an Ego compressor, which is really cool. You know, I was just going through like a little Wampler kick right there. Hey, Wampler's a great company, make great pedals. So to end this video, let's go over the last iteration of my pedals. All right, so here's the Boss ES8. Still got the Line 6 Mission Engineering expression pedal. And I had, at that point, I sold off my H9s because I was like, you know, I mean, they're great pedals, but they're kind of expensive. And, you know, really was trying to be budget conscious and not have tons of money tied up into my board, which, you know, by the time you sell that, and then I went ahead and got the Route 66, which was at that point my 2nd time I had bought and sold that pedal. And then there's a Jekyll and Hyde, which is a great overdrive and distortion in one box. So once again, I'm going for that dual overdrive kind of thing. So that way I'm saving space, and I'm also using 1 power supply for 1 box. Same goes for the Route 66. You got your compressor and your Tube Screamer-ish kind of overdrive there. So there's my dirt section, along with the Hoof Reaper Octave, which I'm pretty sure was my probably 2nd or 3rd time I've owned that pedal as well. I don't know what my problem was, really. I just kept buying and selling the same pedal over and over. There's the Pog 2. Really, I love this pedal. So I foregoed the Hall of Fame reverb and got the Avalanche Run, which is a reverb and delay in 1 box. And this is a really good sounding pedal. And then you got the Electro Harmonics Canyon right there. And then for the M5, I was basically probably just using these for like 1 for modulation and the other for all the other reverbs and delays I might have needed at the time. There's my little tuner right there. And there's a little Mooer wall pedal over there on the bottom right hand corner of the board. And there's 1 more variation on this setup right here that involved a Boss DD500. And I think I kept the M5 and put the DD500 right here. And maybe I might have moved some things around after that. Can't really remember. I couldn't find a picture, but I know it's somewhere. So you can see all the jacks in the pedals. But what was sad about this setup was I never even got to actually full on wire it up. Because at this point, I wasn't playing in a band. I wasn't playing live anywhere. And I was like, you know what? It is pointless for me to have this huge honking pedal board and all this money tied up in pedals and cables and power supplies and whatever else, when I'm not even going to be using it live for anything. It's just going to be here in the studio, which, you know, you can use this as a studio board, and I could have got some great sounds and, you know, recorded with this just fine. But I just didn't have the heart to, you know, go through all that process of wiring and powering it up and, you know, testing all the cables and all that stuff. So I pretty much abandoned this setup right here, sold everything. The only thing I have left is the L6 from Mission Engineering, and nothing else. Everything else is sold off. So stay tuned for next week. I'm going to show you what I'm actually using now in the studio full time. So be sure to subscribe down below, hit that bell icon, and do not miss the next episode because I'm pretty excited to share with you what I'm using now, what I've done to replace all these pedals in a very small and compact, very easy to use system that I can create whatever tone I have in my head. So thanks guys for watching. I am Dr. McFarland. I will see you in the next video. Keep rocking. Hey guys, thanks for checking out my videos and my YouTube channel. If you want to see a lot more cool content, be sure to head over to drmcfarlandstudios.com.